Well, the DCC has developed a rates remission policy taking into account the special connection Maori have with the land. It appears what the DCC is saying is Maori have a special connection to the land and they're going to be offering them a remission on some land, especially land that's not profitable. So I'm assuming that means land that they own, that they don't live on, that they don't make money off, but policy between local iwi and council saying maybe the same rates won't apply to that land. But David Loughrey, you were at the council meeting where this was all talked about, so you'll probably get some insight.
This is possibly in a way more of a practical response to the situation that they were presented with. So Desiree Williams, who's a solicitor with the Ngāi Tahu Maori Law Centre, came along with a couple who had a piece of land, I think it was behind Karatane, but it had no access at all. It was a reasonably small piece of land. They've been paying rates on it for years and years. There was no access, there was no road to it, it was surrounded by farms and stuff. So it could not be, conceivably, you couldn't necessarily make money from it. Right. So that was the situation. And there were a few other, just little pieces of land here and there that had been passed down through families that that had ancestral land. So I mean, that's the land they're looking at. There's a very small amount of them, and it was really more, to me, it looks like a practical solution to something that just was a little bit unfair, that they were paying rates on land they couldn't use.
So yeah, okay. So a question straight away, that's really interesting. We looked at a property once in Mornington that was surrounded by houses. Yes, there was a footpath to it, but you couldn't get access to it for a vehicle. That kind of thing, could that be up for this debate, or is this purely about land?
Look, because the land is in the country, so
right.
Yeah, so it's not city land, it's country land, and that's the thing. I mean,
and I guess because there's a house on this land.
It's not that you just have to walk to it. No, there was no house on this particular piece of land. I mean, they're not all like that, but most of them are in that sort of situation. And
it sounds like you're saying that there's not a lot of them.
No, they were sort of broken up. I saw a map, and I haven't seen it since May, but there were small amounts of them broken up through the city. Yeah, so it's not a huge amount of land.
So Councillor Ginta McTavish is on board for this. She said it was only fair and right. I've got a quote from her. She says, "We need to be coming at this with a different cultural lens to that which our statutory framework has been developed from. For me, one of the strongest arguments for this policy stems from the fact that Maori see themselves as kaitiaki, or guardians of the land, not as owners of the land." So that seems to be a cultural reason, but the reason you seem to be seeing almost seems to be a logistical reason.
Yeah, actually the other aspect of this was that these bits of land go through families, I think it was, and through whānau, and therefore people die and other people take them over, so it's actually difficult to have I guess a sort of a line of ownership that necessarily has one particular use for the land or anything like that. So there's various challenges that these things have.
It seems that Councillor Lee Vandervis is really the only person that would seem who had dissent in this area. He said this, quote, "Given there is no significant number of Māori freehold land issues in our parts of the country, I don't see why we should go to the expense developing a policy." In other words, he's saying there's such a few number that this is going to hit, it's going to cost us a lot of money to do it, let's not bother.
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't know that I really have a lot of knowledge about that and the cost of the policy. I don't know that it would be very extensive, but yeah, I just don't know.